I've written 5 books about retirement planning. In today's video, I'll give you a 1-minute summary of each one of them. And at the end of this video, you'll learn about the latest groundbreaking book I'm writing that you can expect to see in the coming year. Okay, let's start with the one that started it all, The Power of Zero, How to Get to the 0% Tax Bracket and Transform Your Retirement. In that book, I begin by making the case that tax rates in the future will be dramatically higher than they are today due to unfunded obligations for Social Security, Medicare, and Medicaid. To put it bluntly, we have promised way more than we can afford to keep, and in order to deliver on those promises, we will likely have to double tax rates in the coming years. And it's not just me that's predicting this. No less than the former Comptroller General of the federal government, David M. Walker, made this prediction in his book, Come Back America, in a CNN op-ed piece and elsewhere. I then explained that if tax rates are likely to go up, then there is a mathematically perfect amount of money to have in each of the 3 basic types of savings accounts or buckets. Your taxable bucket serves as an emergency fund and should hold no more than 6 months worth of basic living expenses. The balances in your tax-deferred investments, 401ks and IRAs, should be low enough that required minimum distributions in retirement are offset by your standard deduction and low enough that they don't cause Social Security taxation. Anything above and beyond that standard amount should be systematically repositioned to your tax-free bucket. I then go on to define true tax-free investments such as Roth IRAs, Roth 401ks, Roth conversions, and certain types of cash value life insurance policies I refer to as life insurance retirement plans or LIRPs. And lastly, I make the case in a chapter called The Tax Sale of a Lifetime that you should try to get your money repositioned to tax-free before tax rates go up for good in 2026. My second book is entitled Look Before You LIRP, Why All Life Insurance Retirement Plans Are Not Created Equal and How to Find the Right One for You. In this book, I take a deeper dive into the life insurance retirement plan and make the case that not all LIRPs are created equal. Throughout the book, I compare starting an LIRP to getting married. When someone looks for a spouse, they likely have a laundry list of qualities that they're looking for. Most people don't want to get married based on a lark or an emotional impulse. Why? Because marriage has long-term implications, and if you marry the wrong person, then divorce can be messy and heart-wrenching. The same holds true for an LIRP. LIRPs don't really work unless you're planning on keeping them until death do you part. And if that's the case, you should have a laundry list of qualities you're looking for in the ideal LIRP. In this book, I explain that Index Universal Life is the ideal LIRP to help you get to the 0% tax bracket in retirement. I then make the case that not all IULs are created equal and that there are specific attributes your IUL should have if you're planning on keeping it your entire life. My third book is called The Volatility Shield, How to Vanquish the 4% Rule and Maximize Your Retirement Income. This is actually a financial novella in which I couch important retirement principles within a mystery thriller that has a very cool McKnight Shyamalan twist ending. Within the context of the story, I describe the 4% rule, which says that you can only ever take 4% of your day one retirement balance in retirement if you want a realistic hope that your retirement savings will last as long as you do. I also make the case that most Americans are not on track to save enough based on this rule. I then explain that if you aren't on track to save enough money by retirement, then you have 5 unsavory alternatives available to you. You can always save more, spend less, work longer, die sooner, or take more risk in the stock market. I then explain a 6th way that involves creating what I refer to as a Volatility Shield account. In broad strokes, this account allows you to pay for your living expenses in the year following a down year in the market, allowing your stock market assets to recover before you take further distributions. By fully funding your Volatility Shield account by day one of retirement, you can as much as double your sustainable withdrawal rate from all your other assets. I then define what types of accounts qualify as true Volatility Shields. You're going to want to take a look at this book, as it is one of my most popular. My 4th book is entitled Tax-Free Income for Life, a step-by-step plan for a secure retirement. In The Power of Zero, I make the case that you should get to the 0% tax bracket to shield yourself from the impact of higher taxes down the road, or what I refer to as tax rate risk. In this book, I make the case that the most pernicious of all retirement risks is in fact longevity risk. This is the risk that you'll run out of money before you run out of life. It's an especially dangerous risk because it magnifies or amplifies the likelihood or the consequences of a subset of risks that can send your retirement plan cartwheeling off the tracks. I then talk about 2 ways to mitigate this risk. The first is what I refer to as the stock market approach. This involves building up a huge pile of money by day one of retirement and then constraining yourself to tiny distribution rates over the course of your retirement. This is where the 4% rule comes into play. I discuss all of the shortcomings of the 4% rule, among which are its high cost and high heartburn. The second approach is what I call the guaranteed lifetime income approach by way of an annuity. I then discuss various types of annuities and make the case that annuities can help you neutralize longevity risk less expensively and with less heartburn along the way versus adhering to the 4% rule. My fifth book is The Infinity Code. This novel is a fast-paced thriller in the Dan Brown mold that may not seem like it has retirement implications, but I assure you it does. Here's the blurb from the back of the book. In 1985, 20 Harvard seniors form a nefarious cabal known only as the Infinity Order. For the next 35 years, they work their way into the highest levels of the federal government, watching and waiting until one of their members rises to the office of the presidency. Once in control of the levers of power, they plan to dramatically remake U.S. monetary policy and usher in a free-spending economic utopia. Should they succeed, the consequences for the nation would be catastrophic and irreversible. Meanwhile, Harvard sophomore Ian Becker has to find the money to pay his tuition or he'll soon be out on the streets, but his YouTube video takedown of a renowned Harvard professor goes viral and turns Ian into an overnight sensation. Before long, Ian finds himself campaigning with the president and making the rounds on network television. As his celebrity grows, his message of fiscal discipline threatens to upend the presidential race and vault the incumbent president to a second term. As Ian's popularity reaches critical mass, he unwittingly threatens to derail the Infinity Order's plans. When his grandmother dies under suspicious circumstances, Ian suspects foul play and begins to investigate. As he uncovers his grandma's mysterious past, he stumbles upon the Infinity Order's insidious plot for the country. In a race against time, Ian and ex-girlfriend Paige Keller must elude an assassin and expose the Infinity Order before Election Day. But the only way they can thwart their plan and save the Republic is if they can somehow crack the Infinity Code. In short, this book speaks to the evils of modern monetary theory, which posits that we can print unlimited supplies of money to pay for our nation's burgeoning debt load. This is especially relevant to retirees today, given the inflation we've endured since the profligate money printing that occurred during the COVID pandemic. And finally, here's a preview of my upcoming book, tentatively titled Guru. In America, we love charismatic gurus who dispense one-size-fits-all financial advice. In fact, gurus like Dave Ramsey and Susie Orman have gained followers by the millions because of their paint-by-the-number financial strategies that are easy to digest and implement. Through their force of personality and marketing acumen, these gurus have helped millions of Americans eliminate debt and work towards financial independence. But even as these financial gurus have helped a huge swath of America eliminate debt and save for retirement, rarely has anyone in the mainstream media stopped to ask the question, is their advice really any good? As I've engaged thousands of investors over the last 25 years, a single overarching theme has emerged. The dumbed-down financial advice offered by Dave Ramsey and other gurus is good for bad investors, but bad for good investors. It's good for bad investors because its broad brushstrokes are easy to follow and yield immediate results, but it's bad for good investors because it's notoriously short on the sophisticated math-based strategy required to ensure their retirement savings last through life expectancy. In short, while financial gurus sometimes dispense good advice, it's nearly always at the expense of the best advice. The difference between what gurus routinely recommend and what they should recommend is what I refer to as the guru gap. And it's a gap into which millions of unwitting investors fall each and every year. The principles I espouse in my best-selling books have deeply resonated with thousands of disciplined investors over the last 10 years and are largely at odds with the one-size-fits-all financial planning prescriptions of America's most popular gurus. This book aims to bridge the gap between what gurus advise and the proven math-based principles that are the hallmark of the Power Zero approach to retirement planning. Okay, folks, that's the summary of my 5 best-selling books on retirement and a preview of things to come. If you'd like to purchase any of them in a single copy, you can do so on Amazon, or if you'd like to purchase them in bulk, you can do so at davidmcknightbooks.com. If you would like some help implementing a balanced, comprehensive approach to tax-free retirement that shields you from the impact of higher taxes, head on over to davidmcknight.com and click on the Connect with an Advisor button. I'm happy to refer you to an advisor in the Power Zero network that has been trained, vetted, and qualified personally by me. If you're a financial professional and want to learn how to become a certified Power Zero advisor, head on over to powerzero.com and opt into the free video series. And if you have any comments or questions, feel free to drop them into the comment section below. I'll respond to every single one of them personally. And don't forget to click like, subscribe, and the bell so you never miss a video. This is David McKnight. I look forward to seeing you on the next video.